Welcome to this week's What's for Dinner video. My name is Ashley. I'm going to be showing you 3 different meals I made this past week. I don't always follow recipes exactly, but if you are interested, I've linked some similar recipes down below. The first dinner I'm going to be showing you, I made a spicy Thai chicken pasta. So I'm going to start out chopping up 1 red bell pepper into just some small strips, and then I'm going to chop up part of a yellow onion into some small strips as well. And then the last vegetable I'm going to chop is part of some cabbage. I'm just going to kind of make it into some shreds. Now for the meat, I'm just going to use 1 large chicken breast. I'm going to butterfly that in half, and then I'm just going to chop it up into some small thin strips. I cut my finger on Monday, so I'm probably gonna have a band-aid throughout this entire video, and it was so hard to cook and use my hands, as you will see here. I am just going to season the chicken, marinate the chicken in some soy sauce. I think that's just the best seasoning, and then I will cook it. So this is kind of like a stir-fry dish, so I just have a little bit of oil in the pan. I'm going to cook the chicken until it's all the way cooked through and then remove it. So I didn't season the chicken that much because I will have a sauce that will go over everything. So now that the chicken's done, I'm going to start cooking the vegetables. I'm going to start out with the onion and the bell pepper. I'm going to cook that until they're nice and soft, and then I'm going to add in the cabbage. So next, I'm going to add in my cabbage. Now that the vegetables are all wilted down, I'm going to stir that till the cabbage is nice and soft as well. I should mention that I do have half a pack of angel hair noodles cooking, boiling, until they are just close to being done. So now that the veggies were all done, I'm going to add back my chicken and toss that all around. And then I'm going to add in my drained angel hair noodles. This, again, is about half of a pack of them. The sauce that I made was just a mixture of soy sauce, honey, and some sriracha. So then I just tossed that all around, made sure everything was coated. I ended up using a little bit more sauce. I just had this Trader Joe's General's sauce. So once the pasta was just about done, I started up some pot stickers on the side. We love pot stickers so much. They're super easy to make. So now I'm just going to toss everything together, make sure it is kind of stir frying, and it will be done. This is how everything looked when it was done. It was super good and super easy to make. This next dinner was super easy, just some barbecue chicken, some mac and cheese, and some corn. So again, I'm just going to take 1 chicken breast. I'm going to butterfly it in half. We like to eat super thin pieces of chicken. I'm just going to season the chicken. This was like a barbecue chicken and rib seasoning that I really wanted to try out. It ended up being pretty salty, so we weren't kind of a fan when we ended up putting a barbecue sauce on the chicken. I just don't think salt and barbecue go together. So I just melted a little bit of butter in the pan, and now I'm going to cook them on both sides until they're all the way cooked through and nice and browned. I like to put a lid on top of my chicken when I flip them just to make sure everything's cooked inside and keeps it nice and juicy. So now I'm going to start on the easy mac and cheese. It really is like 1 cheese. I'm just going to melt some butter and then add some flour to make a roux. Once that was all combined, I'm going to slowly add some warmed milk. I don't like to add cold milk because I find that sometimes it curdles. So once that was all stirred in, I'm going to slowly bring it up to a simmer just to make sure it thickens up. So I just added like a nice spoonful of some cream cheese that I had just to make sure it stays nice and creamy. And then I'm going to add a couple handfuls of jack cheese. I'm going to season a little bit with some Cajun seasoning, the Slap Your Mama seasoning, and then some parsley. So I just drained my pasta noodles and then I placed them into this small dish. This is a smaller than a 13 by 9 dish. I'm just going to put half the sauce into the mac and cheese and then half of the sauce on top. Then I'm going to add one last layer of cheese after I spread this around. Hey, the main ingredient, and this is cheese. And then I just sprinkled a little bit more seasoning on top. This went in the oven at about 350 uncovered for like maybe 10 to 15 minutes, just enough until the top of the cheese was all melted and bubbly. You don't want it to dry out. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just warmed up some corn and this was just a nice meal. This next meal was super fun, something I'm actually pretty proud of. This is the TikTok fold over wrap, I guess. I don't even know what it's called. But I am going to start out making my Mexican rice first. So I am just emptying 1 cup of white rice into a pan with a little bit of oil. I'm going to toast this until it's nice and brown. And then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of garlic salt, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and half a teaspoon of cumin. Once that's all nice and toasted, I'm going to add half a can of tomato sauce, and then I'm just going to stir that around and let it cook down. Next, I'm going to add 2 cups of water and then 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon and 1 teaspoon of tomato bouillon. So I'm just going to stir this really nice and carefully, and then I'm going to bring it up to a simmer, and then I will put my lid on it and turn the heat down. So now I'm going to get started grilling up my chicken. I used 2 chicken breasts and then I just cut them in half. So I am just going to place these down in the pan, let them brown on the one side, and then I'm going to flip them. The smell of this chicken was so good cooking. The smell of like Mexican spices is unbeatable. So after they were done cooking, I just removed them and then chopped it up, and now we are going to get started on the wraps. So you are just going to make a line down the center, like a 4th, and then this is what I'm doing for my wrap. I am going to do some refried beans, some chicken, some cheese, and then some rice. I ended up learning that you do need some cheese to kind of help glue everything together, so you do want to put cheese kind of on each part. This is how it looked before I wrapped it. This was so easy. This was like easier than I thought it would be. So I made 2 of these for my fiance. They are very filling. He ate about probably 1.5 of these. The coolest part of this is you can put literally anything in these. You can do breakfast ones, fajita ones, just like anything. I think next I am excited to do a breakfast ones with like bacon, eggs, cheese, and maybe potatoes. So then I just sprayed my pan with a little bit of olive oil spray, and then you just want to place these seam side down so they grill closed. Once they're nice and brown on the other side, then you flip them. So once they were done, I just removed them to a plate. I just topped them with some lettuce and sour cream. I didn't really have very much, but you could put anything on this. This was so good, and I definitely will make this again. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video. Make sure you come back next week for another one.